Okay, today we're going to look at An die Musik by Schubert. This is a basic German lieder. It's a great introductory piece for a young singer when they're starting their German study. It's not too high, not too low. It's really a lovely piece. So let's go ahead and look at the score. So, as always, first things first, time signature, key signature. We are in C major and we are in cut time. So we're in 2-2. Just so you know, your track that you're going to sight read this with is in 4/4. It's beating quarter notes, so you have a little bit more consistent of a click to stay with. But we are in 2. The time signature is 2, which to me really feels like we have a sense of motion. I want to follow the big phrase line so that things are always moving forward. In fact, my tempo marking is mäßig, really. There is already in the tempo marking a sense of movement, a sense of, I looked that up once in the dictionary I was using, translated it as windy, which is not really helpful, but there's a sense of motion, right? So let's go ahead and look through this piece. One of the big things in this piece is that we have a lot of clef changes in my right hand, right? So we're already upping the difficulty in that our motion is going to be constant eighth note motion through this piece, and our melody line is in the left hand. So we've already upped the difficulty with 2 things, really. And the third is that we're going to have a lot of clef changes. So in my flip through, I want to be aware that I catch them all. So we start out in bass clef, then we're up at treble clef, but right back to bass clef, back up to treble clef over here. So just be aware of the clef changes on this piece. As far as what to cut out, if I need to, if my brain starts to explode and I need to drop something out, I want to make sure that I have the left hand melody going and probably the harmonic structure in the right hand. So we talked a lot in the 2 handle pieces previously about shapes, chord shape, and sticking with harmonic structure. That is going to be huge in this piece. Even if we just look at the first bar, C major second inversion has a very specific shape to it, right? And then but by the second bar, my bottom 2 notes stay the same. I just changed the top note. That bottom G still stays the same in beat 3. I have to pick up a move for the G7 in beat 4, and then we're back to C. So I want to make sure that my harmonic structure is consistent, and the reading of chord shapes is really going to save me in this piece. But this is not one that we can cut out the left hand. The bass line really needs to be there, especially in this moment. That's going to give your singer something to hang on to, right? So as we continue to flip through this, again, I want to watch for clef changes. We have a little bit of accidentals through there that I want to be aware of. Another clef change there through my interlude. And also notice that my hands are going to have to jump up an octave, 2 octaves actually, to get up to there. So that's a pick up and move moment that I want to be aware of. If I turn the page, I'm back in bass clef again. And I want to notice that this is basically just a second verse, right? Exact repeat. We go through, there's my left hand melody moment. There's my bits of chromaticism. And there's that last clef change that jumps me up 2 octaves. And then I just proceed to go down to that last bass clef change. So with that, let's go ahead and read the piece. Okay, so how do you do? We've upped the difficulty with the constant eighth note motion. We have constant chordal eighth note motion. We have a left hand melody, all of that going on at once. So we're dealing with a lot of what we looked at with the previous 4 pieces, but all at once, right? So my next steps, again, if we look at the score, my next steps are definitely going to be to dig into the text. I know that's what I always say. But with this particular piece, we're looking at the height of lieder composition, right? Schubert moving into Schumann, all of that, and the descriptiveness of the piano. How the piano really starts to become a character in how these stories are told, right? So yes, I want to get an IPA transcription, but more than that, I want to get a good translation of this text. This particular text, while I don't want to take your translation away from you, but it's very much talking about the love and the joy and the positive purpose of music. It's all the things that those of us that are, living this musician life want to say about why we love our art form. It's very hymn-like. It's often described as a hymn to music. So looking at the text and figuring out how my piano accompaniment really does help to tell that story. It's very hymn-like, very noble, right? So I want to be able to have that conversation with my singer, but also have an idea of the story that I want to tell as I, perform this piece. So again, IPA transcription, translation, then we're going to sing it with the piano so that I am able to put both things together before I see my singer. And then when I see my singer, I'm capable of having a conversation about what this piece is about and make intelligent choices with them in our preparation for this piece, right? So again, if you want a hard copy of this piece or a IPA transcription or a translation, that can all be found on my website, which is www.emilywilliamspianist.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and otherwise I will see you for our next piece.